So, what if I told you that Fluent students don't just remember answers, they have a thinking pathway that helps them get to the destination? We've talked about visual tools, and visual tools are one bridge to help them get there. Strategic reasoning is the next bridge, and we really want to make sure that our students get to the point where they're able to engage in mental math strategies. And so there is a thinking pathway that can help our students with both addition and with multiplication. And that thinking pathway is switch, predict, plan, and solve. So let's say we're looking at a math fact like 8 plus 7. And I want the students to think of first off, can you switch this, right? Is it easier for me to think of 7 plus 8 or 8 plus 7? And the students might think, well, you know what? 7 plus 8 might help me if I'm thinking in doubles, right? Because I can think double 7 is 14 plus one more is 15. Or you might have a student who is thinking about, you know what, maybe it's better, easier for me to switch them because I'm going to use a strategy that starts with 8. So first I want them to switch, and then I want them to predict, is this total going to be more than 10 or less than 10? That will help them determine what plan to use, what strategy to use. Now, this time I might think if I had switched it to 8 plus 7, I might think, ooh, if I have 8, I can add 2 more to make a 10. And now I have 10 and 5 is 15. Right. So that visual piece helps. And then it's a bridge to help the kids get to the point where they're able to think about that strategically using mental math strategies. So that's just one example of switch, predict, plan, and solve. So let's think about another one. Let's switch into multiplication. Let's say we're thinking about 6 times 4. So here would be 6 times 4, right? We have 6 stacks and there's 4 in each stack. So here's 6 times 4. The first thing I want the kids to think about is, do I want to switch? Do I want to think about 6 times 4 or do I want to think about 4 times 6, right? And then I'm going to predict what strategy, what multiplication fact is this close to that might help me? Is this closer to a foundational fact of multiplying by ones or twos or fives or tens? So then I can make a plan. If I had predicted that, 6 times 4, ooh, that's really close to 5 times 4, which is 20, and then 1 times 4 is 4 more, then I can figure out that it's 24. So switch the commutative property, predict. What do you think? Is it going to be more than 10 or less than 10 if you're working with addition? Is it going to be close to a foundational fact of the ones, the twos, the fives, or the tens? Then make a plan. What strategy you're going to use, then solve. This sounds like it might be a bit cumbersome. And the important thing to think here is that the kids need to go slow to go fast. For a lot of kids, they will keep counting on their fingers because it's faster than it is to slow down and think strategically. But once they're starting to think strategically, it's a very natural progression to get to the point where you have instant retrieval. And that's what we want so we can free up that short-term memory so kids can do more complex mathematics and problem solving. So, when you're teaching a thinking pathway, you are not just teaching a math fact. You're teaching the students how to think.